ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः Verse number 81. यो यो दृग्गोचरार्थो भवति स सतदा तद्गतात्मस्वरूपा अविज्ञानोत्पद्यमानः स्फुरति ननु यथा शुद्धिका ज्ञानहेतुः रौद्राभासो मृषैव स्फुरति च किरणाज्ञानतो कुम्भो भुजङ्गो रज्ज्वज्ञाननिमेषं सुखभयकृदतो दृष्टिसृष्टमिखिलेदम्. We'll see this in detail, but the basis of this verse is a particular, a kind of a popular, what's that, view in Advaita Vedanta. And we touched on this before. And what is that called? Drishti Srishti Vada. It's controversial for a number of reasons. And even though there is something good about it, I would also like to say that we do not subscribe to it. Now, this is right from the beginning, this has to be clear. We meaning the Adi Shankaras and people who are proponents of Adi Shankara, followers of Adi Shankara, we don't subscribe to it because of some of the problems that there are. So, it is what's that? It can't be taken too seriously because if you start going in it, then there is it's like a maze. You can get lost in it. And also, there are more and more people in the recent times who are trying to equate this Drishti Srishti Vada, with quantum physics and all that. While it is interesting, that's outside the scope of this, this discussion. Okay. So now, what is this Drishti Srishti Vada? Now, in the 16th century, 1500 thereabout, I don't know the whole dates and all. In the 16th century, there was one Swami, Prakashananda, Prakashananda Saraswati, and who came up with this particular Vada. Vada means a kind of a view, darshan. And what was this darshana? He himself called it Drishti Srishti Vada, and it was in the what's its name? In the book, his book. What was the name of his book? Vedanta Siddhanta Muktavali. For short, just called Siddhanta Muktavali. Vedanta Siddhanta Muktavali. Muktavali means a pearl necklace of comprising pearls of wisdom from Vedanta, Siddhanta, the principles of the teaching of Vedanta. That was the title of his work, and that's where he propounded this. Now, what is this Drishti Srishti Vada? This is also very interesting because the Drishti Srishti Vada contends that the world has only two orders of reality. Just to be very, very clear, we have three orders of reality, correct? What are they? There is Paramarthika, Brahman. All that is there is undifferentiated Brahman, which as though gets differentiated. And when does it as though get differentiated? When the Maya Shakti is there and everything, as though gets differentiated. Then because of that, to account for that differentiation, and we cannot falsify, I mean, you can falsify a single perception of yourself, but you can, your own perception, you can say, oh, maybe I was mistaken, but you cannot falsify an entire world of people seeing the same thing that we are seeing. that you are seeing. And so therefore, there is this empirical reality. There's this empirical reality which includes the micro objects, small things that you need a microscope to see, like bacteria, which is tiny, but then it can wreak havoc on a person's system because they come. That's why they're called bacteria. It's not, you never talk about it as bacterium. Okay. Because because they come in droves and then they proliferate at the speed of light. And so therefore there is the human defenses are nothing in front of them. So like this, there it includes microscopic things, the empirical reality, and macro things also, like that wonderful new photo of this galaxy by this new telescope. Oh my God, it's just gorgeous. Um, Please go look at it. What is that called? Webb telescope. This Webb telescope is coming up with very, very nice images. And now it has this new image of, so it looks like how you go to amusement parks and there is a giant wheel. It's exactly what it looks like. So it's called the Cartwheel Galaxy. Fantastic photo. It's able to, I mean, the Hubble is now renamed Hobble because whatever it gives, whatever photos it gives compared to the Webb telescope is nothing. And so like this, it includes micro things as well as macro things. All this. This constitutes what we call the empirical world. This is how we take care of understanding the Jagat, which is exactly how there is which codifies and validates the fact that there is a shared perception. That's how we lead our lives because of the shared perception. For example, there is gravity, which is what is allowing me to teach. Otherwise, I'd be floating somewhere. And then, which is what is allowing you to sit and take the class. Otherwise, you would be floating somewhere, I would be floating somewhere, and our laptops would be dancing somewhere. And that is not happening. Why? Because we all occupy a mid level shared reality called the empirical reality. Now, in Advaita Vedanta, the kind that we study, we are very clear that this empirical reality is time bound, is not the ultimate, and it is just it is a manifestation of that Brahman. And even here we are very careful. We say it's an as though manifestation. Because really speaking, from the standpoint of the absolute, there is no man, there is no manifestation. Okay, there is nothing. All that is there is one conscious being whose consciousness is not, which consciousness is not separate from you. So that is what is the ultimate reality. But then the as though differentiation and the as though explanation of karma, and because of the jivas, and the jivas need a place to play. Why? Because they have too many desires, and then because of those desires they keep getting reincarnated, and then in one kalpa after next kalpa, and Bhagavan keeps doling out universe 1.0, universe 2.0, like this. And so kalpa number one, kalpa number two, like this, so many cycles of creation keep coming because of all this. But these are all, we understand that these are all as though. We don't have to go to the lengths of dismissing the empirical world. Nothing is gained out of dismissing the empirical world other than a big headache and a lot of confusion. And people have tried this, and then it makes one dissociate. Already the problem is one of dissociation. Already one is dissociated from Bhagavan. Already one is disconnected from oneself. Already one is disconnected from other people in the world. One is just completely disconnected. And then on top of that, this big headache. What is the headache? Oh, whatever you're seeing is unreal. Whatever you're participating in is unreal. So this way the person goes through five unreal marriages. Okay. And, and then saves for the unreal children's unreal college fund. This we don't accept. Because there is, there is if it is unreal, then there is nothing to discuss. Why are you discussing this? So, but we understand that it is a satta. The empirical reality is a satta. Satta means it is a reality, but it's not ultimate. It's not absolute. So, in the kind of Vedanta that we propound and we like to study, the challenge is of one of living the Paramarthika life while being on earth. So, not letting this understanding that I am the truth of everything be disturbed. How? By the whatever is going on in the empirical reality. That is the point. So, the point is to juggle the empirical reality from the standpoint of the Paramarthika. That is the point. To juggle it means to inhabit it gracefully, to do whatever needs to be done without taking it too seriously. Then, so this is our Vedanta. Then we have the final order of quote unquote again a reality only because it is real as long as it's there, which is called pratibhasikam, which is the personal subjective reality. And this is the cause of all the problems. According to the Adi Shankara's Vedanta, this is the cause of all the problems. Because the Pratibhasika, the subjective reality, eclipses the empirical reality so that whatever I am seeing with my own filters. That filter is Raga and Dvesha. It is not coffee. It is Raga and Dvesha. Okay. So it is Raga Dvesha. That is the filter. Ragadvesha, strong preferences, prejudices, this, that, all kinds of nonsense. I want the world to be this way. So, and I'm in denial about how the world is. So, I'm going to look at the world only in this way. This is called Pratibhasika. So, we have these three orders of reality. So, then what becomes the goal of life? The goal of life is to reduce and ideally eliminate Pratibhasika. Okay, so that is goal number one, eliminate subjectivity. And how is that accomplished? Goal number one, the eliminating of the subjectivity is accomplished through Karma Yoga, Bahiranga sadhana called Karma Yoga, where the ragadvetas are subserved for the sake of spiritual growth. I want to do something badly. I think I should be doing it, but I don't do it because I know what I am committed to is self growth. I'm not committed to just fulfilling my desires. Or, sometimes what happens, one wants to do something, but then one, puts it on somebody else and say, oh, that person really wants me to do this, therefore I'm doing this. Very convenient. Put the other one, make the other one the scapegoat. And what are you? A scapegoat. Because you are the goat that escaped and tied up the other one, for the sacrifice. So therefore, this is the very convenient way in which the Pratibhasika is all the time, what's the word for it, keep on reproducing. This is how it keeps reproducing. Because what one does is in keeping with one's ragadveshas. But then you say, oh, society expects me to do it. The world expects me to do it. You hide behind the preferences of others. So the other people expect me to do it, so therefore I should do it. And so the whole life is a big confusion. It's the confusion not because you don't know what to do. You know what to do, but you don't want to do it, and you don't want to accept that you don't want to do it. It's better to be honest and say, I'm not there yet. Better to be honest and say, hey, I'm not there yet. I can't do this. I would like to grow to that, but I can't do this. So this honesty is the beginnings, the nascent karma yoga. And then karma yoga means basically subserving the desires, putting the desires, in on the back burner, putting one's self growth on the at the foreground. And then what as a result? So as a result, doing what you know you are supposed to do, even at the cost of self disapproval, even at the cost of the disapproval of the society, etc., etc. You are, doing what you're supposed to do. And then in that, a lot of raga dveshas are sacrificed. There is bloodshed in the beginning, and raga dveshas are sacrificed. But then there is growth. One has sthirata. Sthirata means one has, oh, what is that? One has Nishchanata, the staying power in the knowledge. Otherwise, what's the use if you keep listening, but then the lifestyle is not in keeping with what you want. The lifestyle is somewhere else and something else, but then you are keeping on studying Vedanta. It's like pouring milk down the drain. It's of no use. And so that dridata, so the goal here is to reduce the subjectivity. Karma yoga, a bahiranga sadhana, it's an outward focused sadhana where you think about, first you are very clear about your wants and needs and what you want to gain from this life, and then you are very clear about not disturbing other people as much as possible, and you lead a life of no disturbance, and you lead a life of compassion, empathy, etc. And you move away from thinking of yourself as the agent of knowledge and as the producer of the results of knowledge. Sorry, no, agent of action and the producer of the results of action. You move away from that thinking because it's simply not true. Therefore, Bhagavan comes into the picture because you are no longer pursuing what all the things you want. So you definitely need Bhagavan because somebody has to, those wants are not going to die down immediately. Those wants are hanging like, clouds that refuse to disperse like fog. So that's why to clear that, we need Bhagavan, we need an altar of surrender, and that Bhagavan is brought in as the actor, as the proxy actor. Actually, you are the proxy actor. Bhagavan is the real agent, Karta, and because of whom the results of action come. And since the results of action have come from Bhagavan, I take it as prasada. This is Karma Yoga. Then this is Bahiranga sadhana because this kind of a sadhana is based on your moving in the world, your everyday interactions, which cannot be denied, which cannot be dismissed. Otherwise, there's already a disconnect and that keeps growing. So then, after this karma yoga, then there is antaranga sadhana. Antaranga sadhana means inward focused sadhanas such as, what is that? The dhyana, meditation, which gives chitta naishchalyam, which gives a staying power. True, and gives the mind a focus. One is not robbed of one's sanity in trying to make a choice. So, this way one is able to just be. So, the meditation is very helpful for this. Then we have, so Antaranga Sadhana, then what does Karma Yoga do? It gives Chitta Shuddhi. It clears the heart of Ragadveshas, which means it clears the heart of subjectivity. So you see the whole Jagat as Bhagavan, step number one, and then you see that this Bhagavan is not other than you, step number two. This is what is required. This is what is the whole gamut of growth and follow and moksha in Adi Shankara's Advaita Vedanta, the kind of Advaita Vedanta that we follow here. But then what is this Prakashananda? This Prakashananda said, why so complicated? Why we are seeing three orders of reality and everything? You put this middle level reality for what? It's a waste of time. Oh, what do you mean? Mountains are a waste of time? And then this ocean is a waste of time. Other people in the Jagat are waste of time. So if all this is a how can you say it's a waste of time? It's very simple. Because when you look at the mountain, you see the mountain, correct? But do you really see the same mountain that your spouse sees, your child sees? Yeah, of course, because you cannot make up the height and the volume and how which way how many peaks this range has and which direction the peaks are there and what kind of vegetation is all there to see. We are all seeing the same thing. Really? You're seeing the same thing? And then Prakash Ananda would say, I don't think so. Because why? For one person, the mountain made him very, 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 very sad. Why? Because he thought of all the wonderful vacations that he had taken with his children there on the mountain range and everything. And now what happened? The children don't talk to him. That's all. So then one fellow, the same mountain, made one fellow very, very sad. The same mountain made the other fellow very, very, very happy. Even as he or she was finishing up the last of the job that they had to do. And they were just like, oh, the fellow said, I'm looking forward to going to the mountains. It's a vacation spot, it's a ski spot, it's wonderful. And then there was a third fellow who was a sadhu. And for him, the mountain did not give any kind of it was a neutral reaction, let us say. And so, like this, that same mountain, you are not really, there is no pure perception. You're not really looking at the mountain unmixed with your own perception. So, Prakashananda's theory banks on the fact that there is no objective perception possible at all. Why? Because you are mired in subjectivity. What about the sadhu? Well, this is Drishti Srishtivada is not for the sadhu. It is for the people who want to be. The sadhu means the person of knowledge. It's not for them. It's for you. And so therefore what? So therefore, when you look at the mountain, it comes. So there is mountain. What are you looking at? Mountain plus your emotions. Somebody who is neutral to the mountain may say, I'm apathetic. It's just a mountain, big deal. What do you want me to see here? So like this, there is so no perception comes without being laced with subjectivity. Right? Yeah. There is no pure perception. It's all subjective. So why on earth should we have a separate, what is that called, empirical reality in the middle? Some place to just, sit down there. So we don't need this intermediate reality at all. So what should we do? Do a Hanuman leap, Hanumanji's leap from Pratibhasika to Paramarthika. That's all you need to do. So let us just take away. This is the first premise of his Drishti Srishtivada. Drishti Srishtivada, I'll tell you the meaning in a bit. But this is the first premise. What is the first premise? Knock off the empirical reality. Knock off the second layer, even for the sake of pedagogy, even for the sake of teaching, even for the sake of assimilating the teachings. Knock it off. There is no middle reality anyway, because whatever you see, whatever you hear, whatever you eat, whatever you taste, whatever you smells you pick up, are all based on your own mindset. That's why sometimes you give the best kind of, something. You show somebody a diamond necklace, but their mind is somewhere else because they are thinking of something that they have done. They are filled with regret and they are feeling guilty and they are mired in this guilt. To show them that, they cannot even appreciate. So that shows that the discussion of the empirical reality is a waste of time. It's a colossal waste of time precisely because what is the point? In Adi Shankara's Advaita Vedanta, reduce subjectivity and eliminate subjectivity, and then what? And then understand that everything is paramartha. Big deal. So then, why do you need this landing spot in terms of empirical reality? Let's take it away. Oh, so already one is feeling a little unmoved because we are not used to this. So let's take it away. And this becomes Drishti Srishti Vada. Drishti eva Srishti. Drishti Srishti Vada. Meaning that there is no Srishti other than your Drishti. What you see is what there is. So this is, and then of course the proponents, Prakashananda himself, and the proponents of his theory, they come up with these handy examples which are talked about in verse number 18. They come up with these handy examples. What are these handy examples? The handy examples are nothing other than this. What's his name? Oh, look, this is how it is. The rope snake, handy example. It doesn't matter that there is a rope. What matters is that you ran away seeing the snake. So the rope here is not, of course, the rope here is not pratibhasika. I mean, sorry, the rope here is not vyavaharika. The rope here is seen as empirical. Empirical reality is there. Okay, and so therefore but here for us the rope is the empirical reality. But then in the metaphor, the rope becomes paramarthika and the snake becomes pratibhasika. So in the example, in the metaphor, what happens? So the rope becomes the adhishthana for the snake, which is pratibhasika. So Prakashananda's proponents, they love this discussion. They absolutely love this discussion because they love this example also. Because they say, see, why do we care about any other intermediate reality? What you see is what you thought existed. What you thought existed is what existed. Oh, but the snake really did not exist. Correct, but it made you run. So therefore, what? Therefore, eliminate the subjectivity and then understand that what you are just conjuring up your own universe. And other than you, everything is false. You are Brahman. They accept that. It's very similar, but to Adi Shankara's Vedanta. That's why I'm spending time talking about this so we can see the differences. It's very similar. So the first thing they do is they take away the middle range, what is that called? The mid-level landing spot, the sweet landing spot of the empirical Jagat, which we see as Ishvara. And then we can say, okay, all that there is Ishvara. Ishvara is Brahman. That Brahman is myself. And then what Srishti, what Drishti, we come to that later. We come to that, but we don't falsify the Jagat. We Ishvarize the Jagat and we Brahmanize the Jagat. We see that the Jagat is an extension and as though extension of myself. But here they say, why all this convoluted thing? When you can eat like this straight away, why bring the hand all over and then eat like that? No, makes no sense at all. Eat straight away and then remove this empirical reality business totally. You don't need this empirical reality because it is not reality. And your pratibhasika is the cause of sorrow. Your subjective reality is the cause of pain. Remove that. Remove that and then you're fine. And so this is Drishti Srishti Bhav. So what you see is false. This is what it is. What you see is not real. So saying the proponent of Drishti Srishti Vada fell into a pothole. Okay, because he kept walking thinking what he saw was not real. But then the ankle that he sprained was also not real. That's what how he will see. This is how they will see. The ankle that got sprained after falling into the pothole, unreal. And then the Vaidya that one went to get some little cream and then bandage up the foot, that also unreal. Cream unreal. And then bandage unreal. Ayyo, pain, unreal. Okay. And then the aspirin or the Tylenol that one took for the pain, also unreal. And then what is real? Only Brahman is real. So this is interesting, very very interesting, because the middle level reality is completely knocked off. And then they also argue. Even Prakashananda did that. He says that even Gaudapadacharya says the same thing in the Mandukya Karika. And for that matter, Mandukya Karika, after all, is an expose of the Mandukya Upanishad. So the Mandukya Upanishad also talks about this alone. So what is your problem? Yes, it talks about this, but it leads us in a very graded way. Gaudapada Acharya is what he proposes is not Drishti Srishtivada. It is Ajatavada, which is very different. Ajatavada means what? That there is no such thing called birth and no such thing called death. This is based purely on the Upanishads and the Bhagavad Gita. Na jayate mriyate va kadachit. We have just finished that verse in the Bhashya class. Ajo nitya shashvato ayam purana. This is what it is. Nothing is born, nothing dies. All that is. And if it is seen in a differentiated way, in an as though differentiated way, it is what it is. It is that which is that Brahman, which is never born, which is never dead. And so his theory or the way he talks about Advaita Vedanta in the Karika is called Ajativada. That there is the discussion of birth and death is not accepted at all. So but then how you're confronting a Jagat. What is the Jagat famous for? Things being born and things dying. That's what the Jagat is famous for. Everything is born, everything dies away. This is what is the world famous Jagat. This is what it is. Everything is born, everything dies. And then so the challenge here is to grow to that understanding that nothing is subject to birth or death, and that thing is only Bhagavan, Brahman, consciousness, and that Brahman is myself alone. That Vastu is myself alone. So this is very different than saying that whatever you see is kalpita, imaginary. This could be dangerous, because if you're prepared to for this knowledge, if you have a high level of preparation, and if you've already studied Advaita Vedanta, you can kind of appreciate this theory, at least this portion of this theory. You can say, okay, I can see how you're going there. But if you are new to Vedanta and the teacher tells you everything is unreal, you know then then what? Then you have to ask the teacher, what are you doing here if you are unreal? This is what it is. You have to ask the teacher only that. And so this is not a good. This Drishti Srishtivada does not a good pedagogy or a methodology make, at least for the beginning people. Okay, so that is its first problem. The second problem is also very interesting, because then we get into the ontological. I find this very fascinating. Then we get into the ontological realm of how to communicate this knowledge. What knowledge? The knowledge that the knowledge that everything is unreal. How how will you do this? How will you communicate this? First of all, you have to be a teacher to communicate. How do you become a teacher? Well, I have to approach a teacher and gain this knowledge. Okay, already you know and you think the reason you go for this teaching is because you already think that everything is unreal other than yourself. Then you will go to an unreal teacher, correct? So the teacher you go to is already falsified by way of this argument. So for this, so for the, so the first you have to decide: are you a student of this? What is that called? Are you a student of this Drishti Srishtivada, or are you a preceptor, a teacher of the Drishti Srishtivada? If you are a student, then how are you going to find a teacher? Because if you are a student, you are the one who is conscious of the fact that everything is an imaginary creation. Then how will you find a teacher who is also not imaginary? And if the teacher is imaginary, the knowledge will also be imaginary. And what good is that knowledge which is imaginary? So that is already falsified. No, 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 I am a teacher. This is advanced Vedanta. So I am a teacher. All right. So we have news for you also. We have news also. Because as a teacher, if you know that only you are real and nothing else, everything else is imaginary, then you will, and if you are firmly established in that knowledge, then you will not bother giving other people this knowledge because all the students are imaginary. So why will you engage in trying to give other people this knowledge when they're all imaginary? And then, they so how will, first of all, why will you do that? You will also not write books. You will also not write vyakhyanas, bhashyas, tika, nothing you will write. And then, so this is, see, just like if you have a dream son or a dream daughter, you have a dream child. Okay, dream child is not a well-behaved child. Okay, the dream child means the child you saw in the dream. So, for the child that you saw in the dream, let us say you only have two children in the waking life, but in the dream suddenly the third one came up, and you said, "Oh my God, where did this one come up from?" And then upon waking, will you establish a college fund for the dream daughter or the dream son? Absolutely not. So here also, if you are a preceptor of this kind of a drishti srishti vada, then why will you invest and why will you have any duties towards these imaginary pupils? This is the thing. Then further, you cannot function as a teacher. Why? For the reasons mentioned before. And you cannot function as a student because that means you will receive instruction from a teacher who is none other than the product of your own imagination and therefore unfit to serve any useful purposes like imparting true knowledge of the Paramarthika. Then what's the purpose of, then finally, what's the purpose of learning? What's the purpose of Vedanta study? It should make you moksha abhimukha. It should make you gain moksha, the liberation from the notion that one is bound. So here, then this is, so here what happens? The pupil then becomes a preceptor, let us say. Pupil becomes a teacher. The shishya becomes guru. Then is this if the teacher is illusory, then when the student occupies the place of the guru will also become illusory, and one is in the danger of negating oneself. So very, very big problem. Okay. Oh, but Dakshinamurti Stotra also says, Swaswami Sambandhatha Shishyacharya Tathaiva Putradhyatmana Bhedatah Swapne Jagriti Vaya Esha Purusho Maya Paribhramitah. Meaning, all these divisions, this is my father, this is my mother, this is my child, this is my teacher, this is my ancestor. We make all these distinctions based on the Brahma. Brahma means what? The delusion of Maya. Because of that, Maya means here Ajnan. We also, the Dakshinamurti Stotram also says that. Yes, it says that. But it doesn't say they are unreal. That you take them to be the absolute reality is the problem. That you try to make the finite into infinite is the problem. There is no problem in saying, this is my wife, this is my husband, this is my child, whatever it is. This is my friend, this is my teacher. There's no problem in saying that, while at the same time knowing that this is just an appearance. So we don't dismiss the reality. We don't dismiss empiricism. What we do is we transcend it. There is a very big difference. Very, very big difference. And that has to be understood. So this is the first problem with Drishti Srishti Vada, because we cannot establish if there is no ground zero to occupy and to discuss certain matters. then the knowledge of the truth can never be imparted by an imaginary shishya, an imaginary guru who is teaching an imaginary shishya. This is the first problem. And then how does the Shishya become a guru? And then when the Shishya becomes a guru, at least when he was Shishya or she was Shishya, they knew that, oh, at least I'm the only thing that is real. Then you become the guru. You go to an unreal guru, a non-existent guru, and then you excel in this knowledge somehow, and then you become the guru. And then at least as a Shishya, you knew that you were the only thing that was existent, and as a guru, you have become unreal. This is the first problem. As though that was not enough, there is a second problem with the Drishti Srishtivada, which is even more concerning than the first. And what is that? There is a subset of this Drishti Srishtivada, which is called, which is the Drishti Srishtivada has another nomenclature, another name. And what is the name? The name is Eka Jiva Vada, very dangerous. Meaning, there is only one Jiva. Then you can't ask yourself, "And who is this one living with me here?" No, there is only one Jiva. Then why have to cook for so many people? No, there is only one Jiva. Only one Jiva exists. Everybody is just one Jiva. And all this is the so many bodies, oh, yeah, unreal. I told you, you have to connect it to what was said before. Everything is unreal. There's only one Jiva. And therefore, the good news in the Drishti Srishtivada is that one Jiva gets enlightenment. Then what? Kam Khatam. Everybody gets enlightened because there's only one Jiva. Oh, how nice. Then I don't have to attend this weekend at all. I don't have to attend any more classes ever. ये तो बहुत अच्छी बात है. This is fantastic. This is so convenient. Why did you wait for so long to tell us about this? Because if you had told us about this years ago, I would have. Now I'm thinking all the things I could have done when I was taking Vedanta classes. I would have achieved by now. So this is problematic. This is very, very problematic because that means what? So if you have ajnanam, that means what? There is no one in the whole world, which is very troubling, that is enlightened to their own nature, A, and there hasn't been anyone in the whole world in the past, including Adi Shankara, including so many other people. No one has had Atmajnan. Very troubling. But then when you read Shankara Vijaya and it talks about, written by this, what is that, this Vidyaranya Swamiji. You read Shankara Vijaya and then you hear all these things about how clearly he had self-knowledge. Then, the Drishti Srishtivada people, Ekajivavada proponents will say, the reason for that is very simple. It's just Arthavada. How many vadas are you going to throw at me today? No. This is Arthavada just means for the purposes of, Shlagha. Shlagha means praising the Shastra. Because without praising the Shastra and keeping a few people up, putting a few people up, and just like you have in a company, a very important aspect of the company are testimonials from customers. Oh, this product is great. I tried it. And it just suddenly some kind of a health supplement, some kind of an antioxidant cocktail. And then, you have testimonials. I had some kind of a terrible chronic disease before that. And then, of course, they'll say it has a few things, but then they will not say in what measure, nothing, some secret ingredients. And then you write a test, you read this testimony. I had this chronic disease for 25 years, and now, thanks to this supplement, I am free. Then only when they collect a few supplement testimonials like this, then only the health drink will sell. Otherwise, who will buy? Nobody will buy. So therefore, Vedanta Shastra also means a few Shankaracharyas and a few Vidyaranyas and a few, people who hold up as though enlightened as part of the testimonial to sell this Vedanta Shastra for its own propagation. What a travesty! Really, what a terrible travesty to say that Adi Shankara did not have self knowledge. It's a travesty on two counts. First of all, you're not reading his works properly. I mean, it's very, very clear that the person knew. Secondly, it's a travesty because if you are positing that he was not enlightened to his nature as Brahman, that means what? Reading his works, where is that going to take you? In dissing him, you are dissing yourself. Really, that's really what it is. So there is no hope. There is no hope for Atmajnanam because all these, this Ekajiva Vada means there's only one Jiva and we are waiting. It brings us back to this dangerous savior mentality. Oh, that one Jiva, whosoever you may be, please appear fast. Please get enlightened and please save us from the bondage without us having to do any work. You just do this. You just get enlightened so that we will all benefit. Very, very, very dangerous. Okay. Now, having mentioned that, it is only fair to say that there are a few people, many of the people who in the Adi Shankara camp enjoy aspects of Drishti Srishti Vada, do so without succumbing to this Ekajiva Vada, without really this thinking Ekajiva Vada. This is the thing. Okay. So this is the so here without succumbing to this Ekajiva Vada, they enjoy some aspects of Drishti Srishti Vada, and we have to let them. Let them go out and have an airing. It's okay. But then these are the two problems if it's not understood properly. And then furthermore, the other problem also is that there is the difficulty of pedagogy. How are you going to communicate it to the people who are new to this, new to Vedanta? How are you going to say? If everything is unreal, then they'll question why they approach you for knowledge. Rightly so. That means you are also unreal. Book is unreal. Everything is unreal. So therefore, this is not something that is, that this is not something that one should subscribe to at all. So now let us look at the verse with this long and much needed introduction to this verse. Let us look at the verse here because otherwise, without this, we will not make any sense of it. यो यो दृग्गोचरार्थः भवति. यः यः means that what which what whatever. Yo means whatever. Drig-gocharartha means padarthas that are objectifiable. Drig means seeing. Gochara means objectified. Yah drig-gocharartha. Artha we have to take it as padartha, things. All those things that are objectifiable, saha, those things, tada, tadgata atmaswarupaha. Tadgat atmaswarupa. Tadgata means those things which are objectifiable were born as soon as you saw them. So if there is a snake lying on the ground, yes, it is born in a way, but still it is not born for you. It has not come under your purview. So as soon as you see snake, then the snake has come to light. Born means come to light. So basically what has happened, yo drig-gochararthaha bhavati sahasah tada tadgat atmaswarupaha avijnana utpadyamanah spurati. Avijnana utpadyamanah spurati. So whatever you see is a product of Atma Ajnanam. In academic circle, it's called nescience. Nei and then SCIENCE, nescience. Nescience means Atma Ajnana. So this is because of Atma Ajnanam, you see a differentiated, a variegated world, a variegated world of names and forms. You see, because of Atma Ajnanam alone. Okay. So then, so Tadgata Atma Swarupa. Tadgata Atma Swarupa means whatever that Swarupa of that thing that you see is because of the leftover effect of Atma Ajnana. That subjectivity. Atma Ajnanam, we cannot directly say it's helpful to bring in the subjectivity. Bring in subjectivity. Then, uh, so, uh, Spurati. Spurati, Nanu, indeed. How Spurati, how does it appear? Yatha, just like Shuktika Ajnana Hetuhu. रौप्य आभासः शुक्तिका अज्ञान हेतु रौप्य आभासः. So the non-recognition of the non-recognition of the silver dollar raupya, shuktika, yatha shuktika ajnana hetu raupya abhasah. So, like the non-recognition of the silver dollar, or sorry, the non-recognition of the mother of pearl leads you to imagine a silver dollar. So, Shuktika Ajnana Hetu. So, born of the Ajnana, born of the ignorance of the mother of the pearl, is the Raupya Abhasaha, is the appearance of the silver dollar. Mrisha eva sprati. So it is decidedly false. Indeed, it's a false perception. When you are walking on the beach and on the sand you discover something shiny and immediately run towards it thinking it's a piece of silver, and then it is disappointing because it is a mother of pearl, and then so therefore what? So therefore the ajnana, the ajnana with regard to the mother of pearl gives the abhasa that it is a silver dollar. So the mother of pearl is not understood. The ajnana is for that adhishthana called mother of pearl. The mother of pearl is not understood. So it is taken to be the silver dollar. Brisha eva sprati. So similarly, in the same way, you have another false perception. Kirana ajnanatah ambha ambhana water. The water where again on the sand. So now you're not taking a walk on the beach. Now you have to switch the thing. You're walking among the sand dunes in the sand. Sand is there, but no water. Okay. So then you see the kirana ajnanatah, because of the ignorance of the sun rays and how they create a mirage. Because of that ignorance, ambha, drishyate. Water is seen. What kind of water? Mrisha. False water. The non-existent water is seen on the sand because of what? Because of the non-understanding or the ignorance of the kirana. Kirana means here the, what's its name? The sun rays. We don't know how the sun rays are functioning, and then there is some iron content in the sand. So the iron filings also shine and they pick up the sun in certain ways, and then they give the effect of this oasis in the desert when there is none. Okay. So then the third example he gives, Bhujangah Rajva Ajnanat Nimesham. Bhujangah, the snake, the serpent. Bhujangah, so that which goes with the help of its shoulders, that is what is called Bhujangamaha and Bhujangaha. So this Bhujanga, this serpent, why do you see? Because Rajva Ajnanat. Rajva Ajnanat Drishyate Bhujangaha. So because the rope, because of the rope Ajnana, because of the ignorance of the rope, what do you see? Snake. Okay. Then, because of the ignorance of the rope, you see the snake. Ajnanat nimesham sukha bhaya krid atah drishti srishtam kila idam. So, nimesham means in the twinkling of an eye. So, that's a measure of time. Even in English, we say, oh, it's just in a twinkling of an eye this happened. So just like that, we have nimesha. So nimesha means in the as much time it says to takes to just blink the eyes quickly. So that is what is called nimesha. So in a matter of a split second, what happens? You either becomes happy or you become fearful. Ah. So as soon as the perception of the snake has come, snake is perceived, and then as soon as the snake is perceived, what happens? Oh, horrible. Heart rate goes up, and then the person runs. Then there is enough cortisol secreted so that you can just, pick up and fly away from there. And then, so you have the stress response, and then there is, and so therefore what? So therefore there is fear. There is fear. So that fear happens because of the fact that you saw a snake when there was none, no snake. But then that no snake was enough to cause fear. Imaginary snake, you don't run away from the real snake. At least that's useful. You run away from the imaginary snake and then say, oh, it was just a rope. So same thing, and then this is called nivritti. Nivritti means running away. And then pravritti is also there. Pravritti means running towards, which is the other two examples. What are they? The mirage water, because of the kirana ajnana hetu, because of the non-recognition of the sun rays. And then the other one is what? The our famous mother of pearl, mistaken for the silver dollar because of the non-knowledge of the mother of pearl. So in the latter two instances, sukha hetu, they become sukha, how does it put it? Yeah. Sukha bhaya krit. Sukha bhaya krit. Sukham karoti iti sukha krit. Bhayam karoti iti bhaya krit. So krit means karoti. So that which is the doer of happiness, which is the creator of happiness or the creator of sorrow or fear. The creator of happiness is the false perception, and the creator of sorrow or fear of the snake is also a misperception, the false perception. See, we say misperception, they will say false perception. That's the difference. And so this is so therefore what? So drishti srishtam kila idam. Idam means idam jagat. Drishti srishtam. It is indeed. Some people will say he's going to. This is not the be all and end all of it. The next verse is going to talk about more things, more from the standpoint of the limitations of this theory. We'll see. He's going to bring in the 9th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Very, very nice. And so he's going to talk about that. But for now, he says, this is what is called drishti srishti. That your srishti is, your drishti is alone the srishti. So in other words, it's your srishti. The whole thing is pratibhasika, and then you need paramarthika. So you have to drop this srishti and understand yourself as Brahma. So, in response to the question which is here, no, it is not like Buddhism because there is Brahman. Yeah, it is not like Buddhism. Yeah, Drishti Srishti is not like Buddhism. It is because Brahman is there. Brahman is there, and that Brahman alone you are. Right? Buddhism does not posit that. Buddhism has, because Satyam is there here. Drishti Srishti Vada is very much Vedanta because Satyam is there, and Mithya is, everything else is Mithya. And and they will even go to say everything else is even tucham, almost non-existent. So this is their view, but to Satyam they will catch on. But in Buddhism, it is mithya without Satyam. It is only mithya. But then there is the Satyam is not talked about. It's very silently just understood, but not talked about. And Adi Shankara, now we are obviously out of time, but Adi Shankara refutes Buddhism with a very, very nice quotation. We will, in the Mandukya Karika Bhashya, I will fish that out and then we'll study that in the next class. Okay. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaga Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om